You're watching TVC Breakfast. Time now to take a look at the stories making the headlines. We've got the papers here with us. Leadership and communication strategist Dr. Ojo is also here with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mike.
Morning,
Good
Doctor.
Yes,
Nice to see you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, I'll start with the Punch. PDP reacts, that's the big story. PDP reacts as Buhari says corruption threatens February the 16th poll. President Atiku to sign fresh pact on poll outcome on Wednesday. Of course, the picture stories here also say a lot. First one, people collecting their PVCs at INEC office in Koshofe, local government area of Lagos State on Sunday, the day before. And then scene of the fire incident at INEC office at Kwampan, local government area of Plateau State on Sunday. INEC officials are also seen here sorting out PVCs at the Immortal Science Primary School in Abuja on Sunday. And then, of course, another fire, the same fire, of course, the picture there showing the amount of materials
situation in Kwampan local government.
Absolutely, Mike. Let's just quickly take you through all the stories here. Arms scam, FG fails to probe Buhari's NSA and minister, overcrowding 9 slump at Atiku's rally in Kano. Lagos man, woman found dead in car. Ex-military governor David Ejo dies at 87. Don't forget Leah Sheribu family begs FG international community. And of course, on the polls that begin on Saturday, Nigeria must avoid Venezuelan nightmare, says Akinyemi. That's the former external affairs minister, of course, and a lawyer of repute. Yes. This is the second time I am seeing a link, so to speak, or a referral of Nigeria with Venezuela. The same question was put across to former finance minister Okonjo-Iweala, where she was speaking to Richard Quest of CNN. Akinyemi is saying he has never felt the kind of fear he's feeling towards these elections. I don't know whether you relate with that.
Yes, I can. Though there's no need for us to be afraid as a people. But again, there's a political party that is not registered in Nigeria who will eventually win the election on Saturday. The political party is not registered, but we all allude to it, and that is the political party called corruption. So there's nothing to fear about the coming
what
election.
Do you mean by that?
This is what I mean.
So corruption is a political
it's
party
a political
now.
party.
But how would you win?
The highest bidder is going to take the day. There's nothing anybody will tell me about this. It's
vote
very
buying
easy.
And the likes.
Vote buying. That's what an average politician is waiting for. Now, there's what they call election money. We have not seen election money. But I bet it with you that by Thursday, election money will start coming out. And it is the highest bidder. We have accepted this.
Are you privy to where some of these monies will be coming out?
I don't know, but I tell you from all angles, even from the ruling party, PDP, and all of them, they will bring out money on Thursday and start distributing from Friday. And by Saturday, they will go out to buy votes. So it is not enough for us to know, to say that one party is superior to the other. The reality of what's on ground is that they both have a 50% chance to win the election. I mean PDP and APC. You don't listen to
but
what
Doctor, you
some
know
of
we
them...
can't be saying that without
based on
evidence.
2 things. I'm coming.
Why don't you let us address...
Based on 2 things. The major element they are bringing on board is, the first one is the element of unity. One is campaigning on the element, I'm going to unite Nigeria. And either we like it or not, there were some moves of this present government that seemingly it's like the government is not actually uniting the nation the way it should. And the second move is the move of corruption. The other one is going to come, you will have seen it on social media, that if Buhari were a bank, and the other person, an article, were a bank, where will you rather put your money? So those are the 2 things, the 2 components that they are campaigning on. And on Saturday, it is what I'm seeing now is vote buying.
But we can still address, we can still talk to the electorate even from now.
And that's why we have to continue to educate them. Educate them.
Yeah, we'll take that as your personal opinion.
It's my personal opinion.
Exactly. But INEC, on the other hand, is moving up to say that they're doing everything to ensure that they prevent vote buying by every means, especially on the day of election.
You see, one danger that we have lived with over time is the danger of poverty. And poverty is usually a product of either mismanagement and corruption. Mismanagement most of the time is not usually corruption. Sometimes if you have 20 billion and you do not know what to do with it, the right project to do with it, you are still going to launch your people into poverty. So these are some of the two things that we have not got right over time. Now, because of poverty, vote buying has become very easy. Because a man who earns 22,000 naira, I perhaps probably spend that amount of money between 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
You cannot convince him not to take 10,000 naira on the day of election.
But he will still come back to see the consequences of his actions.
They do not care.
It's still.
But on the other hand, a lot of Nigerians are still seeing it that it is still development on the side of our democracy, that vote buying is what we're discussing now. We've gone past the days of stuffing ballot boxes and snatching ballot boxes. So politicians are resorting to vote buying. And by the time that is taken care of, then we'll keep moving up and getting better and fine-tuning the democracy. It's really a good movement
because it has indirectly returned power to the electorate.
Okay.
Now the electorate should understand that, okay, if these people are after my voter's card, then it shows that I carry one power that I may not be aware of. So it has indirectly returned the power to the people. Now we need to consciously make effort. And when we are making effort, we are not saying between 4 years. INEC has to be consistent either within the period of election or not. NOAA has to be consistent, not waiting for the period of election.
Elections,
to
right.
continue
Should be
to
a
educate the
continuous
people.
project.
We hope INEC keeps that tempo from 2015 up until now, because one way or the other, INEC has been improving on it. All right, let's move to the Nation newspaper now. Report says that Buhari will win this election by 60%. That's what the Nation newspaper is saying here. The U.S. research firm Eurasia states why president will retain his job. He also said a divided support, other odds against PDP candidate Atiku listed. Now, Buhari's edge over Atiku, APC's widespread structure, anxiety over Onoge not enough to turn the table, and divided support for Atiku, PDP governors' lack of zeal. Now, one of the issues they're talking about is even governors, the PDP governors and some members in the campaign organization of the PDP are struggling to retain their seats. So it brings about divided attention and divided support one way or the other. That's what the report is saying. Part of what the report is saying.
You see, the last U.S. election has actually made nonsense of some of these reports that we rely on. For me, if I'm outside of Nigeria and I want to gather a report or make a report on the election, I'm going to go on the social media first and feel the pulse of the people. But if you go, the fact is that, Mike, you know, I will never tell lie. The fact is that if you go on social media today, President Buhari is having an upper hand. If you go on if you want to judge with what people are saying on the social media. Okay. But the reality is that you cannot tell where the election is going to turn to. Because I've talked about poverty the other time. There's one aspect that we are not even taking note of, which is the aspect of religion. That is also a massive area. Now, what you talked about the governor, the only thing, why some governors are even displaying rascality now is because of the timetable. You know, the National Assembly election and everything is not going to happen, and the presidential election and the governorship election is not going to happen the same day. Yes. So they can go all out and campaign for whosoever they want to campaign for and still have time to campaign for themselves. That is why some governors in APC are bringing out candidates from another party. It's happening in Imo, it's happening in Ogun. They know that they can all gather on the 16th and support President Buhari, and subsequently they go to
they retain their seats.
Their tents.
All right, let's wait to see. Ultimately, Nigerians are the ones who will decide this election.
Yes.
So
at the end of the day, I want Nigeria to win.
Yes, let's wait to see what
Nigerians that's the conclusion.
Yes. All right, let's just run through some of these elections. INEC expresses confidence in card readers, and 3 feared dead at Atiku's Kano rally. It was a massive turnout. And then on the front page there, the picture story there tells from the last presidential debate where TVC, BBC, and EIE and others teamed up to conduct the presidential debate. You can see some of the candidates in there. All right, that's the Nation newspaper.
And Vanguard is leading with what it calls a Buhari-Atiku war over alleged vote buying. That's President Buhari is quoted here as saying, by looting, the corrupt have powerful resources at their disposal, and they will use them for when you fight corruption, you can be sure it will fight back. Alhaji Atiku is also quoted here, unless it's another moment of his characteristic cognitive failure, then that statement has to amount to a case of self-indictment. And yes, like Mike said, the picture story shows the turn-up for Alhaji Atiku in Kano.
I think Kano is a very unique and peculiar city or state when it comes to a massive turnout for any presidential candidate.
Interestingly,
Any presidential candidate.
and last week,
Kano
we
will
were
always
also
deliver.
surprised at the turnout also for Alhaji Muhammad and Alhaji Atiku in Katsina State. And now we are seeing, some sort of that now in Kano. But then let's talk about this war on alleged vote buy. We can't talk enough about it right now because it's the countdown now to Saturday. I mean, what do you have to say about this? Recall also that on Wednesday, both men will meet again to sign a peace pact ahead of the polls.
You see, there's no how you want to discuss the politics of PDP without discussing the politics of corruption. Unfortunately, many of those people who perpetrated high corruption during the period of PDP, majority of them are also in APC now. So when you're talking about corruption,
Exactly.
all of them...
So that brings us to the issue of...
The president is not speaking about only PDP. He's talking about the political ruling class.
Exactly, the politicians in
Corrupt
Nigeria.
people.
Exactly.
Corrupt people.
That is
They are
what
everywhere.
Nigerians would like to look at. Because if you're going to divide it based on PDP or APC or any other political party,
Everyone
you won't
has
be
a fair share.
capturing,
Yes,
you won't be
yes,
capturing adequately what this whole situation is.
So the money they are going to spend in fairness on Saturday are proceeds of corruption from either party. Because I know a President Buhari, for example, that he may not want to release money to go and... He will not.
He has said so.
Yes,
He won't
to be buying vote. He will not. But there are so many of his lieutenants who have stolen money that will release such money to ensure that their principal wins election. Because if my principal wins at the end of the day, I will benefit. So the concept of corruption is a universal concept when it comes to political calculation in Nigeria. And it's going to play out massively. Now, on the massive crowd you see all over the place, I have a friend who has the underwear, the vest, or what do they call it? The campaign vest of both APC, YPP, and this thing. So it's a matter of turnout. It's still a result of poverty. You will not tell me to leave office by 12 noon, for example, and follow you to any campaign, this thing, because I am engaged.
Right.
I'm a businessman. I'm engaged in my business. Majority of those you see in political rally, either of APC or PDP, majority of them are jobless. Majority of them go from one political party to the other. So I will not be surprised if I see an Andrew in this political party of PDP and I'm seeing the same person in APC. All I need to do is to change my invest and get my 1,000 or 2,000 as the case may be.
But what's the difference? Haven't we seen die-hard supporters now? We can relate with America, with the US. Haven't we seen die-hard supporters, turning out massively now for their presidents or for their candidates, now as the case may be, elsewhere, without the money factor, as you say?
No, it's not everybody you see in political rallies that are actually paid. We have some die-hard supporters. But because politicians want to always make a point. You don't need to make a point. They want to say, my crowd is bigger than yours. Larger than yours. That's the point. That's why they go to rent. It's not as if they don't have traditional followers. They have heavy followership. They have, but it is about statement.
All right.
That's what they want to make.
All right, a quick run through now at other stories right on the Vanguard. Stock investors defy political tension, turn bullish. The UN is urging Nigeria to conduct credible, fair elections that will be globally accepted. Former of the suspended CJN, Walter Onoge, is back in court today at the CCT tribunal. He insists, I made my money legitimately. And then the CCT boss, that's Danladi Umar, is also explaining why he will not respond to a query against him. Former governor of Midwest Nigeria, General David Ejo, dies at 87. Mike.
It's really a sad one there. Moving on to this day newspaper is our last one for today. Atiku's Kano rally throws open Buhari's northern strongholds. Massive crowds at Bauchi, Jigawa, Katsina, Kaduna show PDP candidate has altered equation. All right. If you put that on one hand and you also reel out the massive turnout for the APC candidate in all the states, then you're also going to say the same thing,
yes,
either in Taraba State or in any... So
depending on where you belong.
Depending on where you see it from and so on. But one way or the other, massive turnout like this will always be seen for candidates, especially in many of the strongholds where those parties are.
And some of these turnout is like a political prophecy. you see some prophet come out to say this person will win. They know that the person will not win, but they want to use it to sway the opinion of people and followership.
Okay.
So when you see a crowd like this, you want to say, this man will win, no, I will follow him.
Okay.
That's why they are contesting with all this crowd.
All right. Cooking gas scarcity looms as NIMASA detains NLNG vessel. Bans waivers, commences clampdown on foreign vessels. And NNPC's refineries record 137.5 billion naira operational losses. All right, if nothing is done, NIMASA is accusing NLNG of the vessel of violating the Cabotage Act. And we look forward to that being resolved. Otherwise, there's going to be scarcity of cooking gas. NGC reconvenes over Onoge Mohammed today.
Right.
All right. Those are the headlines. And on Buhari, general election, democracy threatened by corrupt people. That's the president is saying that. You are jittery, says PDP. Saraki asks Nigerians to reject outdated leaders on Saturday. Wow, okay.
You know, I don't know the definition of the word outdated leaders. You understand? Because
No, at political campaigns like this, you hear all sorts of names, adjectives, and vocabulary qualifying different things in different ways.
Because if it has to do with age, then he's also indirectly telling Nigerians to reject the candidate of his own political party too. Because there's no difference between a 76-year-old man and perhaps a 73-year-old man. So if it is based on age, but I don't know whether it's talking about ideology, but I've always told you that if we do not conquer the problem of traditional leadership, it doesn't matter whether we bring a 40-year-old man there. If you are still thinking traditionally, then tradition kills innovation. There's no one or two, and there's no how you can be doing things the same old way and expect an extraordinary result. So that's the problem. We have a general leadership problem in Nigeria. It is understandable. And to resolve it, we need a lot of exposure, education, and innovation. That's what we need.
We look forward to a greater Nigeria because by every extra election, we get to, build on the democracy that we look forward to. Dr. John, thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.